Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for November 2021. So on the 4th, we do have the new moon taking place in Scorpio. It is going to be taking place at its peak energy at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Time. It is going to be taking place at 12 degrees, and let me tell you, this is likely going to feel more like a full moon. We've had the last two for sure, new moons in particular, that have felt more like full moons. And the reason for that is because we're going through a major upgrade right now. We have a portal wide open from the 31st to the 11th, really kind of activating our DNA with new light codes, really kind of defragging us from the old emotional, mental type of cycles that we've been in. Subconsciously, we're going through a lot during our sleep states, trying to kind of remove all of these limiting thoughts from our operating system. And the last couple of new moons have been a little bit dark. They're supposed to be dark because that's what a new moon is supposed to be. I mean, there's no moon in the sky. It is a dark moon, letting us sit in the darkness of our thoughts and of our emotions in order to figure out what it is we don't want to experience, so that we can figure out what it is we do want to experience and moving forward when the moon again becomes visible in the sky. But the full moon is more about releasing and surrendering, and that's definitely what we got going on here. Mostly because Scorpio energy is about letting it go. Scorpio energy is a fixed sign. It's a fixed water sign. And Scorpio energy is the alchemist of the zodiac. We have to dabble in the shadow parts of who it is that we are, who it is that we've been, who it is that we kind of have created in our minds and in our heart space, and really kind of just surrender to the fact that, guess what? We're the ones that have self-sabotaged ourselves. We're the ones holding ourselves back. We're the ones that don't believe that, we have the power. And this new moon in Scorpio is going to illuminate a lot of our weaknesses, a lot of our vulnerabilities, our fears, our insecurities. And we do that because there's a lot of shadow work that needs to be done in order for us to even be aware that some of these thoughts and memories and feelings are still creeping around below the surface of our awareness. And of course, they only come out to play when our backs are against the wall, when we're frustrated and we're confused, and we tend to kind of lose our shit and not feel like we have the energy to do anything and really reach a breaking point. And the new moon in Scorpio is definitely going to provide us with a lot of opportunities for our ego to react. But here's the thing. Scorpio energy has 1 foot in this 3D physical realm and 1 foot in the energetic realm. So there is a lot of healing and transformations that can take place, mind, body, and soul, during this energy, but it never feels good. We have to become aware of the not so nice parts of us in order for us to even be 100% sure that they are still existing, in order for us to want to change them. And Scorpio being a fixed sign, we're not really big on change. We are being forced to change right now in a lot of ways. The transformations are kind of taking place because of external circumstances. And really, we don't really want to stay in this present moment. We don't really like where it is that we're at, but we also don't want to change either. We don't want to have to make the kinds of changes and transformations that we know we have to make in order to get to where it is that we want to be. And so we are internalizing this conflict, this struggle with wanting to stay, but also wanting to go. We have a lot of aspects taking place in this particular moon energy that's really going to amp up, first of all, anxiety, first of all, impulsivity, because we're sitting right across from Uranus, direct actually, from Uranus, who is retrograde in Taurus. So this is a shock to the system. It's a shock to the mental plane. We are being really encouraged to take a good look at all the relationships that are falling apart, and all the craziness that is consumed, and all the chaos that is taking place, and all of the dynamics that are rapidly changing, and the changes to our money matters, and the changes to the way that we even view our own worth and our own value. And that's what this Uranian energy wants to illuminate us to, is all the places in our lives that aren't built on strong foundations, that do not have strong enough foundations to continue onward. And this is really going to rattle us. So we have the sun and the moon sitting on top of one another in Scorpio. That's how the new moon takes place. Sitting across from this Uranian energy, it's a lot of energy in your head. And mostly this is affecting your personal relationships, your self-worth, and your career, your money matters, your financial stability because of the talents and skills that you're actually using to create an income. So it's supposed to feel crazy. It's supposed to feel dark and desperate. It's supposed to feel all over the freaking place. And this is basically showing us where it is that the negative narrative comes in and just talks fear into our dreams, into our goals, and tells us all the reasons of why we're not good enough and why we don't deserve it and why we should just stick with the same old, why we're never going to be able to accelerate past this particular point in time. It is literally the negative Nancy narrative that wants to speak fear into our plans for the future so that we don't try to better ourselves. We don't try to align with our highest self, our spirit, and instead we actually listen to our ego running these negative narratives. We have a huge opportunity to heal this though, because the moon is actually going to be trining with Neptune, who is retrograde in Pisces. And this is going to, I'll tell you, this gives us two opportunities here. We're either going to be so overwhelmed by the negative narratives that we're just going to want to escape the reality and the life in which we've created altogether, which is no good for anyone. Or we're going to use these negative narratives, these negative, darker thoughts and emotions and memories, situations, topics, and themes that are coming up. We're going to use that as the reason, as our motivation, as our inspiration to make a dramatic change, because we sure as hell don't want to go back to what that was. We really don't want to stay in this moment on how life is currently right now. But to think about the future is very scary. And we're scared because we have limiting thoughts. And we're scared because we've created an energy blockage within our soul, within our spirit, that Neptune is trying very hard to heal. And so if we can abandon our egoic self, where the fear-based and negative thinking comes into play, then we have a huge ability to rewrite the wrongs of the past, to rewrite the script of how things went and how it is that we kind of perceive the pain and trauma of our past. And when we do that, we lighten the load in our energy body, and we have a different awareness, and we have the ability to heal the energetic cords, mind, body, and soul, to prepare us to actually take charge and take action in our physical realms to make sure that we don't repeat situations of the past, that we don't stay in the funk of the present, and that we actually use our weaknesses, our vulnerabilities, our pain, and our trauma as the fuel to the fire that we need in order to be brave and courageous and bold enough to make a dramatic shift in our realities moving forward. Now, let me tell you, this new moon is clearly providing us with an opportunity to lose our shit, to vocalize what it is that we've been holding in, to absolutely embrace the darker parts, and the good part, the light part, the rewards are going to come later. More specifically, we're about to have eclipse season later on in this month, and that's when things really start realigning in major ways. And this is basically the volcano, right? The volcano's been bubbling. The volcano's been, pretty active. Scorpio energy, although a water energy, should have kind of been a volcano, because that volcano can explode at any time. And what happens after a volcano explodes? It goes dormant once again. And from that explosion, new land is created, new territory is created, a new foundation is created. And that is what this new moon in Scorpio is all about. So outside of the moon aspects, you will see in the moon guide that there are some very positive aspects at play, and there are a couple negative ones as well. Let me break it down very, very clearly. The positive ones are kind of divinely scripted for us to speak our truth and get all of these energies outside of our body. It is speaking on our emotions, what it is that we feel like we're lacking in safety, security, and stability in our partnerships. We are speaking on the visions that we would like to have, like to manifest for the future. But we also need to be very real in acknowledging where it is that we've created some of the blockages preventing us from truly getting there. And the true node, most in particular, is trining with Saturn and Pluto, which does speak that there are some major aha moments and connections that will take place over the next couple of days that will totally change and skew our vision and our dreams and our plans moving forward. Pluto and Mars both rule this new moon in Scorpio, and Pluto is the god of the underworld, throwing our fears and our trauma and our insecurities in our face in order for us to use that as fuel to fire us into change and metamorphosis. And Mars, of course, is the god of war, and he wants nothing more than to physically exert himself in this physical realm, to take action and make a move to signal to ourselves, to other people, and to the universe that we're not happy where it is that we're at. So we have to make a major dramatic shift and initiate change and be aggressive to actually get what it is we want. And that might be hard to define right now because of the chaos, because of the craziness, but let the negative thoughts and emotions act as a framework for you to figure out what it is that you don't want, so that you can figure out from that what it is that you do want. So I think you'll find it interesting going through the moon guide to see that the elemental energy profile looks a whole hell of a lot like a peace sign. And that's exactly what's going to come. That's what the result is going to be after we have our eruption, after we lose our shit, after we get shit off of our chest. Peace will come. Let me say this, Scorpio energy is the only sign that is represented by 3 different animal totems. And we start off with the scorpion, the ground dweller, the darkness dweller, the shadow dweller, who is always on edge, ready to fight, ready to strike, ready to kill anytime that they are defensive and vulnerable and feeling like they are in danger. Then the second level to that is the eagle, who, if we can get out of the egoic, fear-based, insecurity type thinking of the scorpion, we can act as the eagle and soar above the sky and gain a greater perspective as the observer to see a bigger plan take place on the earth that we might not see as the scorpion kind of hiding underneath that rock. And then the third animal totem for this sign is the phoenix. And the phoenix is totally put to death and totally destroyed and resulted to a pile of ash on the floor. And just as the smoke clears from that pile of ash, the phoenix is reborn, stronger than ever before, connected more than ever before, and enlightened in a way that a certain death, surrendering and letting go to all the circumstances in which have created the darkest parts within us, using that as a source of power is what builds us back up. And we do essentially have to have a breakdown before we have a breakthrough. So we have a lot of transformation taking place. We have a lot of reflection to do in our shadow self. This is going to act as the catalyst for some big changes, some life-changing events. This is a catalyst of energies, setting us up and preparing us for the major astrological events that are about to take place over the next couple of months to wrap up 2021. So this is all connected. It's all divinely scripted, and it's all kind of being played out for our soul's growth and evolution.